saying stop recording. So now we're ready. We've gone a bit, oh yeah, we've gone a bit blurry, but it's come back now. So I'm with Luke Skyscraper James to give me his full title from This Twisted Wreckage. Your music has recently come to my attention, Luke, and I've been playing it on my shows, and I absolutely love it. Now, you have obviously quite a background, and there's no way we would ever do it justice, considering you were an original member of the band Fashion in 1979.
That's
so
right.
Briefly tell us about that, and then we'll fast forward to This Twisted Wreckage.
Okay, yeah, well, when Fashion first started, our plan was to not sound like anybody else at the time and to experiment with putting techno, reggae, and punk into the same song. And we caught the attention of Miles Copeland, and we went from this sort of playing in a derelict hotel to rehearse on the Moseley Road to being put on tour with this up-and-coming band called The Police. And so I was really fortunate for about a year and a half to tour with a lot of really top-name bands that became icons, as the support band. And toured the UK and the US with people like John Cooper Clarke, the B-52s, U2, and The Police. So that was, and then I decided in 1980 I didn't want to be famous anymore. I was sick of trying to, the fame circus, as it were. So I walked out. I just took off, and I've spent the rest of my life just being a musician, as opposed to somebody who wants to be famous as a musician. And I've had the ride of my life, and at the age of 70 now, living in Northern California, I've suddenly discovered that I'm in the best band that I've ever been in my life, with a bloke I've never met called Ricky Humphrey, who's just a genius, who lives in Gosport, and I live in San Francisco Bay Area. So I've never actually met him, but because of the music, he's like one of my closest friends. So This Twisted Wreckage is like a blessing to me. It's like this magical alchemy that happens musically between Ricky and I. And to be honest, I can't get my hat on sometimes about how this has happened,
So how does the process work at the moment? So does Ricky send you the music I mean, do you sort of jam it where he sends you a rough copy, or is he pretty much finished the song, ready for you to add your vocals?
Right, it'll be partially finished, but like he sent me a new track this morning, and he said, if you need me to extend the first section or make it shorter or extend the second section. So it's like, it's finished enough to where I can hear in my head that it's a song. I mean, he's got a studio, Bomb-Proof Studios, in Gosport, and the level of finished mixed production that Ricky has is incredible. He layers and he knows exactly how to build and release tension within a song, and he layers vocals and he layers effects, and he's a multi-instrumentalist. He's a brilliant producer. So he'll send me a beginning idea that already sounds good, and then I'll basically la 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 to it, or sometimes magically the words just pop into my head on the first listen. That's where it gets kind of magical in a way. It's weird. I don't understand the process, but there's some musical chemistry going on between me and Ricky that I've not really experienced. I had musical chemistry with Fashion back in the old days, but we didn't really know what we were doing. And we were
because you were young. Well, you were young then, and I'm guessing, the difference now, the beauty of the world that we now record and write in are these virtual bands that pop up.
Absolutely.
So file sharing and sending each other ideas is the modern equivalent of jamming now, isn't it? So
it is, yeah.
Having to put up sometimes in a band with not everyone you get on with, the beauty about the fact that you're only working with one other person, you can do it quick.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Wayne. And the important thing about my musical relationship with Ricky is that he's been through the music business mill as well, and what we've managed to do is we've both managed to sublimate our egos. So I'm not precious or attached to my lyrics or to my melodies or to my style of singing. If there's a part that he doesn't think is quite right, you know, and he feels the same way about the music, is that, you know, we have this total two-way communication, and it's all about whatever serves the song, what makes the song the best song it can be. And so it's wonderful to have that level of communication and to be able to just say, well, no, I don't like that bit. Do you think you could do this? Or, you know, he'll say to me, could you just re-record that vocal section? Or maybe you could do it a little softer, or do it a bit more violently, you know, whatever the suggestion is. And every single time, there is never, in my mind, and I'm sure in Ricky's, there's never a thought like, oh, but it was all right the first time. What's he talking about? We don't have any of that nonsense. And it's bloody marvelous.
I bet.
It's marvelous.
Now, so far, you've written and recorded 85 songs with Ricky, haven't you? That is quite an array to choose from. And you've obviously put material out with videos as well. And
just started doing that, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, on my shows, the positive energy and reaction has been as I expected, because, you know, I love your songs. So from your point of view, when you've got such a body of work, what are your plans to do with it? Are you going to go the album route onto CD or vinyl, or are you going to just keep putting bite-sized chunks out of songs and videos?
Well, I think we're going to actually, the plan is to do a mix of the two. We've recently added to the team Pete King, another brummie, who was the manager of Steel Pulse. And so Pete's like a production consultant, and he's also like a pathfinder. You know, he's got some contacts with people. But we are planning on an album. We're working on it right now on selection. It's like a wonderful dilemma. We've got so much stuff that we like. Well, everything. We like everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, Ricky said the other day, how is it that in 2 years we haven't written a Duff song? And I said, I don't know, mate. I don't know. And we're not being big-headed. We're just, again, there's that open communication. That's the way it appears to me and Ricky, and to the people, the few people that have heard us, we're getting a similar reaction. So we're going to put out, I think we're going to put out like a single through the digital world. I think once every 6 weeks. So we've got one coming up on July 22nd. Okay. We're narrowing the choice down on that at the moment. We're also working on an album. We have an album called 3 times 10 = 29, a celebration of the new culture of ignorance, which is 10 3-minute songs, very much up-tempo, 180 beats a minute, punk kind of inspired. And there's a possibility that Easy Action Records in London might put that out as a limited release CD. Now, Easy Action put out some of the old-fashioned demos and the only known live recording recently. But the problem is with vinyl is there's about a 1-year waiting list now for vinyl manufacture. Yeah. Whereas CDs, it's just 3 or 4 weeks. So I think we're going to do a mixture. We've got a Bandcamp page. If you're This Twisted Wreckage on Bandcamp, we've got a web page.
I was going to ask where people can get hold of your material.
Bandcamp. Yeah, Bandcamp and www.this-twisted-wreckage.com. That's our main website. And at the moment, that's got the EP, which is the 3 songs, Dancing with Angels, Always Arriving, and We Are Gifted. And there's a video for each of them. Now, that's another thing about Ricky, is not only is he brilliant at constructing sound, but Ricky is brilliant, it turns out, at constructing videos using royalty-free clips. Ah. People have said to me, in fact, I got a comment yesterday, who's that girl in Always Arriving, that actress? She looks really familiar. And I'm like, dude, she's a girl from a royalty-free clip. Ricky has even found clips of drummers, and he's edited them so that it looks like they're playing in the band. And people have said, "Wow, I really like your new drummer." You know, and it's like, well, Ricky programmed the drums, and then he programmed this image to fit So he really is, the guy's a genius when it comes to the design, when it comes to the building the soundscape. And then so he sent me this track, I'll work on it, I'll get him some vocals, I'll send it back. And he has carte blanche to rearrange it any way that he feels is best. And then he'll send it back to me. And then I'll say, if I think, well, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that. And same thing with the videos, you know, there've been some videos where I thought, well, you know, that scene there with that, maybe it could be a little bit more like this. And he's like, yeah, no problem, mate, I'll find you something. It's amazing, amazing.
Well, talking of which, we're going to wrap the interview up now, and I'm going to play one of your songs, Always Arriving, which drives along nicely. I will admit that on a recent show of mine, I likened it to a bit like Zig Zig Sputnik. I hope I didn't offend you with that, Luke.
No, Martin Degville's actually a friend of mine. I knew him from the old days. You know, right. I know Martin. I'm still in touch with him on Facebook. But when I lived in England, we'd run into each other from time to time. He's a great bloke. Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Well, look, what I'm going to do now is we're going to wrap things up. And I'll be playing your track straight afterwards, and I'll be playing one of your fashion tracks before the interview. And what we'll do is we'll end the interview now, Luke, but because there's so much that I want to tap into, we will do another one sometime as well, so I can tell people a lot more about your history, because I'd love to touch upon that as well next time.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, Wayne, and I really, from my heart, thank you for liking the new music.
Pleasure. I love it. It suits my show right down to the ground, to be honest, because as you know, I'm a keen supporter of music that just doesn't get enough airplay. And your material deserves a bigger audience and fits in nicely with what I'm about, you know, in terms of the context of my show. So it's been great to see you today, Luke. Have a rest of the day in San Francisco.
I will, mate.
And I will catch up with you soon. So you take care and see you soon.
Good afternoon from me and good night from you then, eh?
Exactly. You got it like the two Ronnies. Take care, mate.
Look after yourself, Wayne. Thanks, bro.
Bye.
Bye.